We're thinking about an 8.5 foot tall creature standing on the side of the road.
What now? 8.5 foot tall creature. Are we talking, the typical Bigfoot hairy beast kind of thing, or
Yes.
is this maybe something else that's unique maybe to this area?
Well, no, actually, in researching the situation, I did speak with someone who talked about the red dog monster. That is apparently something that's well known in the Brownsville area that I'd never heard of.
I'd never heard of that either.
And apparently that's something that is new to me. I'd never heard that. And the witness that had seen this described it as not Bigfoot-ish. So, but my concentration is the Bigfoot sightings that I've spoken to these people about. And it was a very tall, hair-covered, dark creature with very large glowing red eyes. And I say glowing in the fact that it was the eye shine from headlights.
I was going to say, that actually leads me to my next question. Were both of these sightings around the same time of day? Was it dawn, dusk? I know that seems to be a popular time for a lot of animals to be up and about. Is that the kind of the time frame we're looking at here?
The one that I remember specifically was around 10:30 at night.
Okay.
So it was a nighttime sighting. That does not eliminate the possibility of daylight sightings. In 2013, I had a young lady contact me in Oliver Springs who saw one on July 4th at 12:30 in the afternoon. And I actually went to the location and found tracks. So
wow. Now,
I did find a track.
When you find tracks, you're a researcher, do you have the ability, do you have the gear to make a cast of them, or do you just take photographs of them, send them off to somebody else to examine those?
No, we have the ability to cast tracks. We have kits that we keep with us, but the track was not deep enough for a good one. Plus, I was on private property and I shouldn't have been there. I took a couple of quick pics and jumped the fence.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to make anybody angry or
we won't say where that was.
cause anybody any problems.
No.
I didn't want to damage anything or hurt anybody. So I took the pictures. I've got them posted on our website, and they're pretty impressive.
What's that website again for people that might be curious as to what we're talking about here?
It's www.easttennesseebigfoot.org.
Very good. Very good. Now, when you're talking to these people, and the last time you were here, we had that sighting up in Norris where the guy, where something was throwing cans, and everybody realized very quickly that was just somebody who'd had a little bit too much to drink. But when you're talking to these people, how do you gauge whether or not you think that they are being completely honest with you, or that they're not just trying to yank your chain, thinking you might be gullible?
Well, a lot of times we have to do that. We have to think about what they're telling us. But a lot of times there's some of the things they say that is uniquely Bigfoot in origin, and we try to listen to them and be as it's pretty much you have to really take people by their word. I mean, it's just like anything else.
Yeah.
I can sit here and talk to you about anything and claim that I've seen something or I've done something, but outside of you knowing for a fact that I'm telling you a lie, you don't know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we have to be, a lot of times I find people being a little standoffish, and usually when you can hear the fear in their voice, you know that something has happened to them that is out of the norm.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, I do experience that.
And, could there be a case of mistaken identity? You always hear about, some sightings, but they're later disproven as it was a bear that was standing on its hind legs, just happened to cast a very large shadow, or just, some of the other things that happen that, maybe the night plays tricks on them.
Right.
What is it you look for in a description to go, you know what, this person may have actually seen something?
Well, usually if it's, for example, one of the things we look for, and I guess this is giving away a little information, but that's okay. It's just the fact of the nature of the beast. They throw rocks. And a lot of times people don't see the creature, but they have rocks thrown at them. And I'm not talking about pebbles and just hand-sized stones. We're talking about bowling ball-sized rocks. And they are arced. They don't simply fall off the side of a bluff or something. They are thrown. There's nothing in the woods.
No.
There's no animal in the woods that can do that.
No.
It takes an opposable thumb. And only we have that and other apes.
Maybe it could be a big raccoon. They've got pretty dexterous hands.
Yeah, they tend to do things like that, but I don't think they have that kind of power.
Well, it's good. If nothing else, there are no mutant raccoons out there, so that's good news.
Now, Jim, we are pretty close to Oak Ridge, so
that is true. I was wondering, and I know that there's a lot of people out there that try and talk. The sightings of Bigfoot go back years and years and years and thousands of years. Even.
Right.
But my question just escaped me. Oh, that's no good. Yeah, it left. So you have to pick up the ball now.
Well, maybe I can answer the question that escaped your mind. There are a lot of people who have the idea that Bigfoot may be some sort of scientific experiment.
Yes, I was wondering the origins. Obviously,
yes.
Now they go back in Native American culture. There weren't any nuclear power plants back then, so it's probably not a 3 Mile Island kind of four-headed fish with 18,000 eyes or whatever. But how could something that big go so undiscovered for so long? I know that's one question a lot of people have. Why can't we find any of their bones?
I honestly think, the bones issue. Now, that's something that we can discuss. How often do people go out in the woods? And we know there are tons of deer, bear, bobcats. Now, people do find remains.
Yes.
But that's very, very rare. People don't always find carcasses of bears. People don't always find carcasses of deer because there are creatures in the woods that take care of those things relatively quickly. There is the possibility, we're thinking about this creature being possibly very intelligent. It may even, there are some believe that this creature even has a type of culture, a human type culture, which would allow it to have the thoughts of burying its dead.
Yeah. I know. I've heard that. I've heard that that some theories are that they do,
and that's
actually
what they
remove
are.
Their dead.
Let me reiterate. That is what those things are. They are theories because we really don't know.
Yeah.
This runs the gauntlet all the way from a simple non-discovered primate all the way to an alien slave race. Okay, if you start looking into all the possibilities, Jim.
I'm sorry.
It is.
I'm sorry. I had to react to alien slave race.
That's fine.
Okay.
But that's all in the gauntlet of this research.
Well, that's crazy.
I have to read into all of it. And, of course, I don't go that far to the left. But somewhere in the middle, there may be some truth.
Yeah.
Alien
slavery. I have never considered that as a possibility.
There are so many things you run into when you talk about this subject. It's incredible.
Now, I know, and again, the last time you were up here, we were poking a little fun at you and having a good time, and again, you were a great sport. But do you find that are your, let me say, theories, stories, sightings, the things you catalog, are they met with more skepticism from people, or do you find people going, no, I think that could actually happen?
In 2005, I was met with a lot of skepticism.
Yeah.
In 2005. In 2014, not so much. There are still those out there who absolutely refuse to even consider the possibility that these creatures exist.
Yeah.
But nowadays, people are at least open to the possibility. And when I talk to them about it, and of course, no, I've never seen a Bigfoot or I've never heard of anything like that. But I remember my grandpa, when I was young, he told me that holler down the road was haunted. See, and all of that starts coming into play when you start looking at these older stories of haunted hollers and a haunted bridge or things like that. And, of course, there may be some paranormal things going on. But a lot of people...
Let's talk to Big Rick about that. He's a ghost hunter. He is.
Okay, well, cool.
Yeah.
And that's it's just one of the things that we deal with. There are a lot of people who say that, they say they've seen haints. I know of a story where some gentlemen were coon hunting on New River, and something was throwing rocks at them. And a friend of mine told me about this story, and that the rocks were so large, and they were bouncing off the other rocks on the railroad tracks, and they were sparking.
Oh, wow.
They could actually see the sparks.
Yeah.
Something was telling them they don't want you there.
This is my fishing hole.
Yeah, don't go there.
Wow. So. Now, the most recent sightings up in Bryceville, it's the same family, but different sightings.
Different sightings, yeah.
Okay. And
that's not unusual because here I am. I'm in a family that has had several sightings. I personally have not. But my son...
seems ironic at best.
Yeah, exactly. My son has had a sighting. My sister, my mother, my ex-sister-in-law.
Huh.
It's all around my family, but it's eluded me, and I'm the one looking.
So. That's weird. That just seems like some sort of cruel twist of fate.
Yeah,
if nothing else.
But that gives me incentive. That gives me an incentive and I understand that, I believe what my family has told me. There's no reason to think that they were lying to me.
Unless this is such a really elaborate lifelong prank.
Yeah. and of course, the one my sister saw was nothing like what people would think a Sasquatch Bigfoot would be. Her creature was less than 4 feet tall, very skinny, very emaciated.
Sounds like a chupacabra.
She said it was apish. Very long arms, but it was very slender and very unhealthy.
Wow.
And that was actually on the Oak Ridge Reservation. In the 1980s.
Well, there you go. These most recent sightings, were they close to homes? And if they weren't, what is the impetus if we've had these 2 sightings by multiple people? Are there more sightings that have been reported to you guys? Is that why we're trying to organize a meeting so people can gather in Briceville and say, okay, this is what I saw, this is what I think you guys saw. It just bounce the ideas off.
That's what we're trying to do. I think I've spoken to some people who have actually had these encounters, but there are a lot more people who may have.
They don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, well, they either don't want to talk about it or they don't know how to get in touch with me.
Well, and that's why you're here.
This is the town meeting reason. I want them to come to the town meeting and tell me what they've seen.
When is the town meeting? Where is the town meeting?
To the best of my knowledge, and Tim Esville, I was hoping he would be here to make sure because I have not got 100% confirmation. But I'm relatively certain it will be Saturday, this coming Saturday, at 10 a.m. At the Masons Lodge in Lake City.
Okay. All right. We will definitely, I'm going to write that down so that I do not forget that. But so 2 sightings, how close were these sightings together? Obviously, if it's the same family, I'm assuming they were close geographically, but how close time-wise? Was it
2 weeks?
Was it 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay.
The first sighting was last year. I think it was back in the winter.
Okay.
The husband. And then the wife and the husband saw it 2 weeks apart back in this past March.
Okay. All right.
So...
and how can people, you were talking about how maybe some people might want to say, hey, look, I saw this. How can they get in touch with you?
Well, the best way, of course, would be the website, but I can also be found on Facebook.
Yes.
The Facebook, East Tennessee Bigfoot Facebook page is easily accessible. You can message me there. And but, of course, you can directly email me from the website.
Very good. And that's easttennesseebigfoot.com?
.org.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Now, is there anything else we need to talk about before we take a quick break? I'd like to open it up for some callers.
Sure,
maybe see if they have their own stories to tell you, or maybe a story that one of their family members has told you. We're going to take a quick break. When we do come back, more with Matt Seeber as we continue to investigate the possibility of Bigfoot, Sasquatches here in East Tennessee. We'll be right back on Ask Your Neighbor.
Don't miss the big deals at Hammer Stores this week. Take advantage of a huge buyout of men's slightly imperfect Carhartt heavy-duty work tees in pocket, printed logo, and standard tee styles. Long-sleeve tees are $8.88, and short-sleeve Carhartt tees are $7.88. Stock up on men's piqué knit golf shirts and summer casual tees in a host of colors. Piqué golf shirts are $2.99, while the tees are a door-busting price, just $1.99. Save on ladies' jeans in a variety of styles. Specialty store jeans are $6.88. Ladies' Lee jeans and Wrangler denims are $9.88 to $10.88. Ladies' spring sportwear by Kathy Daniels is a real deal at $6.88 each piece. Novelty spring jackets by New Directions and Live a Little are $9.88 to $13.95. Men's first quality Nike logo tees are $8.88 for muscle styles and $9.88 for short sleeves. There are more of those men's dress and casual shoes by Dockers and Chaps priced at $28.95 a pair. New deals are rolling in every week. That's at Hammers, Clinton, New Tazewell, Halls, and Sevier.
Our friend Michael Farley is running for chancellor. This judge of the Chancery Court resolves issues having to do with divorce, property, adoption, and business disputes. Michael Farley is the only candidate with extensive experience as a lawyer and a judge. He is hardworking, and he's one of us. If a day in court comes for us or a loved one, we want and we need a judge who is experienced, hardworking, and who shares our Tennessee values. We need Michael Farley. Vote for Michael Farley on May 6th. Paid for by the committee to elect Michael Farley, Maryland Darnell Treasurer.
It is 10:31. We are on the air here on Ask Your Neighbor, joined by a Bigfoot researcher, Matt Seeber. We've had a couple of sightings reported to Matt in the last month or so up in Briceville. That'll be the subject of a town hall, a public meeting, if you will, a town meeting, town hall style meeting that is going to take place, we do believe, 10 o'clock Saturday morning, the Masons Lodge in Lake City. We'll get confirmation on that for you. But right now, Matt has agreed to take a couple of phone calls. So let's go over here and say, good morning, caller. Welcome to Ask Your Neighbor. Question or comment for our guest today?
Yeah, I would just want to be one on there. I seen one of them critters.
Where'd you see it and when?
Oh, it was on the backside of Apple Creek. I'd say at the foot of Frost Bottom, as you go into Frost Bottom, over the mountain, like next to the airport. Me and my buddy, we seen it, and we was afraid to tell anybody because they wouldn't believe us.
When'd you guys see it?
It was back in, this would be the ones that they're seeing now, Grandpa.
Gotcha. Oh, so this is a story that has been cooking for quite some time.
I'm serious. It was back in 73 or 74.
Oh, wow. I was 2. Okay.
And me and Barry Walker, I know somebody knows his name, but he moved off to Texas. But we went inside his trailer and got his shotgun.
Oh, wow. So you guys were convinced you saw. So what did you see? I'm sure Matt would like some details about what you guys saw.
This thing, when we went up to the bushes where it was at, I would say the bushes was like 5, 6 foot tall, and he had his head probably about 3 foot tall above them bushes, or he or she, I don't know what it was, but man, did it have a smell. It was the worst monkey butt or armpit you could ever smell.
Matt just said that is a pretty common report with these sightings as well. Now, what did you? So you guys saw this. You had the gun. You went and did you chase after it at all, or did you guys just go? You know what? That thing went back in the woods. I'm going to stay out here.
I tell you what, it brought chills up your spine. It brought the hair up on you. You know. Well, I mean, we were just kids back then. We was 13, 14 years old. We never had seen nothing like that. You know, and we was, it had the dogs barking and the neighbors saying, what in the world was that, you know? We didn't know. You know, they was on us. They thought we was making the noise.
Oh, wow.
But I said, we can't make noise like that.
But, so it was screaming?
Yeah, it put out a yip like, it was like, it was in between like a cat and a baby.
Oh, yeah. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, that's
pretty common.
Yeah.
Matt says that's pretty common, so it looks like you may have seen something.
And you're not the only person who's seen things there at that bridge.
Yeah,
I've had a few reports from there.
What y'all saying now, but I don't know how long them things live, but I'll tell you what, I don't go in the woods anymore unless I got a pistol or a shotgun or something.
Or 5 other guys with that stuff.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, man, I don't go in the woods while I'm packing, baby. I got my bullet right here in my pocket.
Well, all right, Jason. Well, hey, I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing your story here with us, and I hopefully we can get to the bottom of whatever's we need to get to the bottom of here.
We were it was right around the 2nd Norwood Lane off of Airport Road is where we saw that critter at.
And that jibes with the geographic area Matt's talking about these recent sightings. So maybe that's the old Bigfoot homestead.
Well, I think they traveled
on that old knob up there above where we could see where you cut off and go to Frost Bottom, or you could pretty much see about everything. We used to have a camp area up there, but it never did bother us so up there. But I did see that critter though. I never did go back in the woods when I was young.
I don't blame you. Well, Jason, hey, I thank you very much, and we'll see if we got any more stories out there. I know somebody here is on the line, too, and they're chomping at the bit.
and just everybody thought I was crazy.
That's all right. We still think you're crazy, but it's about other stuff now.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, have a good one.
Thanks, Jason.
Thank you.
And that sounds like a story that's almost
a common
familiar.
Story. Yeah. And see, that's one of the things I look for. The screams, some of the aspects of what he said.
The horrible smell. It sounds like
if somebody's
an armpit.
Right. If somebody's trying to pull a prank, they're going to have to work at it. They're going to have to learn their subject matter and go from there.
Are you ever concerned that there have been so many descriptions that have been put out there by people that claim to see it, that other people who are claiming to see it may just be piggybacking on their statements? And they're saying, oh, okay, well, this is what I read. This is what it looks like. I'm going to tell this guy that I saw it.
Well, see, here's the thing about it, Jim. The only thing they have to gain by telling me a lie is making fun of me.
Yeah.
And that it's not going to gain them any kind of notoriety from me.
Exactly.
So.
Exactly. Well, let's go over here to line 2. I want to thank you very much for holding on as long as you have. Welcome in to Ask Your Neighbor. A question, comment, story for Matt.
Well, I've talked to Matt here recently. I was the one that seen the Bigfoot in Bristol.
Oh, wow. Okay.
How you doing, man?
And, Saturday night, I was out in the yard with the kids getting ready for Easter and everything, and they was riding their bicycles, and there was a scream, just a blood-curdling scream that just echoed the holler. The dogs was barking, and all of a sudden the dogs just shut up. And I seen it 5 years ago on New River, and then I seen it last year in the winter dragging the deer. And I just want to let people know to be on the lookout because there's something roaming the Red Dog area in Bristol.
It certainly sounds like it. Now, how far away were you when you saw, I guess the most recent time, I believe, was the dragging the deer across the road. How close were you? Did the creature look at you at all?
No, when I came around the curve going to work that morning, the headlights, when I seen it, I mean, in 3 steps, and it was across the road and gone. I was probably 25, 30 feet from it all 3 times.
Wow.
I mean, I've been very close. One time I was salting the state highway about 3 o'clock in the morning, and it crossed the road, and then the last 3 times, it was dragging the deer. It was about 25, 30 feet in front of the vehicle. And then when me and my wife saw it, it was within 60 foot on the side of the road. And we've been close. I've been very close to it.
Huh. Well, and you sound, I guess I'll play the role of devil's advocate here. You sound like, if nothing else, you believe that you did see something, so that's got to count for something, I have to assume. No. Like you said, it's the attitude of, if they seem a little freaked out by it, they probably saw something. If they're not, if they're a little bit more like, yeah, it was 8 feet tall, he was covered in brown hair, shaggy, he had a deer, his eyes were yellow, he smelled bad. You pretty much know that you're dealing with a copycat there. Yeah. But this guy really does you sound very credible, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like that guy that just owned. I used to go hunting and all kinds of stuff. Hey, I won't go in the woods without a gun.
Definitely. I don't think I'm going to go in the woods without a gun anymore.
Well, here's the thing. I don't take one with me.
Most definitely something in that area.
Well, hey, thank you very much. I'm glad you called in. And apparently your sighting is going to get a lot more people out in the community talking about it. So if there is something out there, it's you may have done quite a public service by getting in touch with Matt.
Yeah.
Right. Well, let Matt know, too, if he don't care to email me or Facebook me the exact time and date that they are going to have that meeting Saturday.
Well, again, I'm relatively certain it'll be 10 o'clock Saturday morning at the Masons Hall there in Lake City.
And stay tuned to the radio station, too, because as soon as we get that confirmed, I'll get that up on our website and let everybody know about it as well.
All righty. I sure appreciate it.
Well, hey, thank you very much. I appreciate you calling. I know Matt does as well. And any new information he can get, I know he appreciates it.
All right, then. You have a good day.
You do the same. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And like I said, I mean, that kind of flies with what you were saying about, you can tell when somebody really believes they've seen something.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound to me like one of those times where, if you repeat the lie often enough, it sounds like the truth or it becomes the truth. That sounds like he actually believes he saw something that bears investigation.
Right. That's the thing about it. This gentleman here and his family, there was absolutely no reason why I would not believe what they were telling me.
Yeah. And the story sounded pretty consistent, and they certainly sound like, and the geographic area tells me that as remote as there are, parts of Briceville are.
He also explained to me as well, the few years before when he was salting the road and saw the road crossing in New River, as we were talking, he explained to me, as the crow flies, where he saw the thing in New River was less than 3 miles from where we were standing. So as far as crossing the hills and the mountains and the valleys, these things have a very big range. They probably saw the same creature every time. Now, because I don't believe we're talking about a great number.
And certainly I don't think you'd have a little family unit. I think that would probably go, I believe that would be harder to go unnoticed. It's almost like if they're out there, they breed and very quickly they get the kid trained, and then I guess the little foot is off.
Right. Well, again, Jim, that's all speculation. We really don't know. A lot of people have the idea that they live in family groups of 2 to 5, and you have one large male and some females and some kids. Just like, let's say, sort of like a pride of lions.
Yeah.
You have 1 or 2 that actually are standing watch, and the other 3 are living their lives. And then they swap around, and they do. And it's all crazy. All the stories come together, and we try to take what we hear from people and try to figure out what's going on.
After the last time you were here, I looked at the website quite a bit. Has anybody else tried to pass off that picture from Harry and the Hendersons?
Oh, no.
Okay, good. Because that was really, that was feeble. That's a feeble attempt at trying to prank the world.
There's one going on right now that some believe is true. I do not, because it looks like Chewbacca. Honestly.
There are no Wookiees. We know for a fact. We don't know about Bigfoot. That is, that's cryptozoology. May or may not exist, but Chewbacca is a Wookiee, and Wookiees were made up by George Lucas.
Right.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, Matt. We'll take another quick break here. On the other side, if you guys have any more questions, comments, stories for Matt, give us a call, 457-1380. Toll free, 877-711-4005. Get on the horn with us. We'll get your story on the air. It's Ask Your Neighbor on a Monday morning.
If shopping for groceries these days seems overwhelming.
Just how big is this place, Harry?
I don't know, but they've got a different area code in produce, and they rotate the tires on the carts every 10,000 miles.
If the way you have to search for everything is getting old.
Can you help me find my wife? She's looking for the cereal.
When'd you last see her?
Last Tuesday, in frozen foods.
There's a better way with United Grocery Outlet. UGO is big on service, small on price, and just your size. At UGO, you get big savings on name brand groceries every day. Plus, UGO offers a 100% satisfaction guarantee.
I swear they smile and they call me by name, and Harry, they help me find things.
That's the way it ought to be.
Visit one of UGO's 13 area locations today and discover a better way to cut your grocery bill without sacrificing quality. Or go to myugo.com for more information.
Hello, I'm Dr. David Ayers with UT Family Physicians in Clinton. Join me the first Tuesday of every month at 10 a.m. on Ask Your Neighbor, while I'll be answering your medical questions. My family and I live right here in Anderson County, and we're glad to treat our fellow community members ranging in age from 2 weeks to nearly 100 years old. In between our radio chats, if you need a physician, give my office a call at 494-5960, 494-5960, and we'll be sure to take care of you and your family.
Could you use $50? How about a lower electricity bill? Sure you could. And that's what Clinton Utilities Board is offering you right now. If you agree to participate in CUB's new Smart Switch program, you'll help keep energy costs low, and CUB will give you $50 just for participating. Now, who couldn't use $50 and lower electricity bills? Participation is easy. Simply call or visit CUB's website. Tell them you want to participate in the Smart Switch program. CUB will send a qualified electrical contractor to your home and install a smart switch on your electric water heater. It's that easy. The smart switch will prevent your electric water heater from using energy during the most expensive peak times of the day. So you save money, and you likely won't even notice any difference in your hot water, and CUB gives you $50. It's a great opportunity, but limited to the first 1,000 CUB customers who enroll. So call now or visit CUB's website, www.clintonub.com. Call 457-9232, 457-9232, or clintonub.com and click on the Smart Switch program.
Hey, it's Jack Ryan. Have y'all seen that big white monster truck I drive around in? That truck, y'all, was modified to become the Merle Machine by H&H Body Shop. It's an old Dodge Ram 1500. We jacked it up, put some good-looking wheels on it, and it looks pretty good, if I say so myself. H&H Body Shop is a lot more than just a body shop, too. Of course, they take care of all the station vehicles here at Merle FM. But they also do all of our personal vehicles, too. Oil changes, tire rotations, mechanical stuff, and, of course, body work. If it's on a vehicle, H&H Body Shop can handle it. Do me a favor, if your car needs an oil change or a complete color change, call Barry at H&H Body Shop, 457-9735. They're good, down-home, honest people, and we here at Merle recommend them. 457-9735. Tell them Jack and the Merle Machine sent you.
Welcome back into Ask Your Neighbor. 12 minutes now before 11 o'clock here on this Monday morning. Jim Harris joined today in studio by area Bigfoot researcher Matt Seeber. Matt, looks like the phones have quieted down here a little bit, but again, Saturday morning, 10 o'clock. And this is, I mean, you guys, this is totally serious. This is not like, this isn't like, going to be stand-up comedy hour. You guys are actually having a meeting to say, hey, look, this is what people say they've seen. Has anybody else seen this? And it obviously the point of having this is to get enough people to stand up and go, I hadn't said anything before, but I did see something like that, 2 months ago or just this past weekend. So obviously you just want people to know it's okay if you've seen one of these things, and it's even more okay to tell people about it.
Right. Yeah. Now, keep in mind that we're not filming a TV show up here. This is a local thing. We're not out trying to make anybody famous. We're trying to just find out what's going on in this area. We've had sightings in the city of Clinton. We've had sightings in Briceville.
When was the most recent one in Clinton? See, I live in the city now.
Okay.
And I am curious as to when and where.
2 years ago, there was a gentleman who actually saw what he believes was a Sasquatch at the down on the other side of the river from the hatchery.
Oh, good. Okay. I wasn't okay. I live next to Clinton High School, so I'm cool. Okay.
It's on the other side. But, we've had them in Norris, Andersonville, Oliver Springs. Of course, the gentleman that was just on the phone earlier talked about what he saw in New River. If you live in any of those areas and you're interested in this subject and maybe you have a story to tell, I'd love for you to come down. We're going to have, we're just going to talk a little bit about it. I'm going to have some forms that you can fill out that we can ask you some questions about what you may have experienced, and hopefully we can get back with you about it. All this does, it gives us a database. It helps us learn. It gives us an idea of where they may be at any given time. It gives us an idea of
what this creature, what our particular version of this creature looks like.
Yeah, what you saw, when you saw it, just simple little things. I mean, that's really what it's about. Anything maybe your grandparents told you and you were a kid.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear those as well.
A lot of stories rooted in reality.
Yeah. So if you're not doing anything Saturday morning, please come down. I don't know what the capacity of the building is. I think Tim Isbell said maybe 60. I would hope to fill the building, but if not, that's fine. But if you've not got anything going on Saturday morning, come on down and talk to us about Bigfoot.
Very good. Well, Matt, it's EastTennesseeBigfoot.org.
Yes, sir.
And they can email you from there. And like I said, as soon as we get get it actually confirmed, but we're thinking 10 o'clock Saturday morning, Mason's Lodge, Lake City.
That's 103 Pearl Street.
103 Pearl Street. Very good. Always good to have an address. Matt, thanks for coming in. Again, you were a great sport in January of 2013 when we were filming that TV show. I felt a little bit bad about some of the questions I asked you for the sake of comedy. So I'm glad that you got in touch with us. I'm glad that you came back up here. And please let me know about the turnout. I'm going to try and make it up there on Saturday. But if I can't, please keep me posted, and we'll let people know.
Great. Thanks
All right.
a lot. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure. That was Matt Seeber. I was and still will continue to be Jim Harris, and we'll be back tomorrow morning with the Country Club Morning Show. That's going to wrap it up for the Monday edition of Ask Your Neighbor. Believe Ron will be back in this chair tomorrow. Next Monday, Mark Stevens, Anderson County Election Administrator, up here with us. I know we've got guests later on this week. Kelly Lenz will be back on Friday to talk about the Relay for Life. Of course, Thursday, always jam-packed with David West, stars and stories of the Kaz Walker Show. Next couple of days, we'll see what the calendar has for us. You all have a fantastic day. Spend some time outside. It's going to be gorgeous, and you might see Bigfoot.
Rain, wind, storm.